So let's face it, wrestlers don't actually retire. One day you just pop up and say, I'm not going to do this anymore. Then a couple of years go by, you think, actually, I made a terrible mistake. Why don't I go back? And you should do this. Life is too short. Which does mean that we can't actually put in stock on anybody who we're going to talk today. But when you actually do the rounds and listen to what some sports entertainers are saying, maybe, just maybe, some are going to hang it up quicker than you may think. My name is time for What Culture. Thank you very much as always for joining me. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. And here's 10 surprising wrestlers that, may be retiring tomorrow. Not tomorrow, but 10 the Young Bucks. Now, as I've said many times before, and as I'm going to say again right now, I think the Young Bucks deserve way more credit than they do get, because they basically changed professional wrestling. And I did a video about this a few years ago, so I'm not going to get into it right here, right now. Go watch it. They have been wrestling a long old time though, and as Matt Jackson told Sports Illustrated after they had that amazing matchup with FTR, he's just a bit like, look, I don't know how many of those I still have in me. I've been doing this a long time and I've got a family, plus I have injuries. I need to start being careful. And he does. It was around this time the Bucks also updated their Twitter bio, so it read, done by 40, which would mean in 2025, they would be retiring. Now look, Matt and Nick Jackson have loads of fun on social media, but that's way too soon for me. I could take a Young Bucks match every single day of the week. This is why you should appreciate them right now, because you just never know. 9, Dustin Rhodes. While many names are synonymous with the early days of AEW, such as Chris Jericho or Cody Rhodes or the Young Bucks or Kenny Omega or a bunch of others, Dustin Rhodes is absolutely somebody who should be thrown in there, mostly because what he did at the pay-per-view known as Double or Nothing. Because on that show, he took on Brother Cody, and my word, if you have never seen this 22-minute matchup, you need to change that today. Like, if you're just walking along in your life and start thinking, I need more emotion in my wrestling, well, it's right there, my friend. It will make you cry. He was also just a fantastic TV character as Dynamite did get going. He started busting out Canadian destroyers, which was mad given his age, but that kind of ties in too. Dustin Rhodes is somehow so damn good in the ring, and even though he keeps putting years on his body, he never slows down, so I call voodoo. Dustin himself, though, has started to say in interviews that he doesn't have that long left, and actually, that he may be retired in 2023. Now, deep in my tum-tum, I kind of hope he does go back to WWE and has that one last run, mostly because then we can do Dustin Rhodes versus Cody Rhodes one more time. Do I actually think that is going to happen? No. Number 8, Randy Orton. And this is one that we have talked about before, but I'm just worried. That's all it is. I'm very concerned when it comes to Randy Orton, because as of me standing here right now and talking to you, he hasn't wrestled since May 2022, because he's struggling with a back injury. It does sound like he's had surgery on it, so we keep everything crossed that he will be able to return to the ring. But even the rumors are starting to proving out to be lies, because we were all told on WrestleMania weekend, oh, Randy Orton's going to be there, Randy Orton is going to be there. And maybe he was having a good time backstage, but in terms of coming out in front of a crowd, we didn't see him. Thankfully, back in April 2022, he did tell TMZ if it was up to him, he would go for another decade. So I'm sure the Viper is trying to do this. But you do have to worry. I mean, look at somebody like Hulk Hogan. He has had so many damn operations on his back because professional wrestling is really dangerous. There was also a report in Fightful back in December saying that WWE would be fortunate if Orton ever did come back. I don't need this in my life. The version of Randy we got before he did go away was the best one ever. So once again, I'm keeping my fingers crossed. Just need a few more matches. And he can go do whatever the hell he wants to do. Number 7, Tajiri. So this happens all the time. You'll just be having a conversation with someone, the Attitude Era will come up, and you'll tell another individual, do you know Tajiri is still wrestling? And they can't flubbing believe it. But he is. Currently with upstart promotion Kyushu Pro, Tajiri actually did a press conference when he did sign, and he was like, look, I'm getting on a little bit now, so I can't say I'm going to be able to do this for too long. But if I can help this company in the early going, that's what I'm going to do. He has had such an incredible career, though. It will be quite the closing when he does decide to walk away. Because not only was he smashing it in ECW in the late 90s, but when he did move to WWE, he proved everybody wrong. Because people were like, oh man, he's never going to be able to succeed under Vince McMahon. And yet here we are in 2023, and everybody remembers The Mist. Everybody remembers that damn tarantula. We also sing the praises of his relationship with William Regal. Oh yeah, his with another one that we should probably try and enjoy, because once he has gone, I don't think he's coming back. Number 6, FTR. As far as I'm concerned, I hope that FTR continue to wrestle forever, because they are just such a good tag team. Like, they had that AEW tag team title match against the Guns the other day, and I was just watching them going, I swear, they're like machines. And do you know who else said that about Cash and Dax? It was the damn Young Bucks. And they know pro wrestling. This all comes down to the fact that when Dax Harwood was talking on his podcast, he said the words, whatever we decide to do next will be the last thing that we do, period. Now, what I think he meant by this was if they go to WWE, they'll probably stay in WWE. Or if they go to AEW, they'll probably stay in AEW. And of course, it looks like they're going to do the latter. We don't know what kind of deal they have. We don't know how many years they've signed on for. Maybe they have a very specific image of their mind about when it's time to say goodbye. It really shouldn't be any time soon though, because there are still so many dream matches that we have to see. And look, I need to manifest this into existence. Even though they are in separate promotions, I want to see the New Day versus FTR, and I want to see the Usos versus FTR. So I cross my arms, and I just hope that one day this happens. Also, I would like to see Cash and Dax versus Edge and Christian. So we have a lot of politicking to do. So yeah, make sure we get these do quick. So I don't want anybody to quit and not get it in my life. Number 5, Cody Rhodes. Now I actually think this is going to change, because if you do go and listen to Cody Rhodes in recent interviews, he's like, okay, I did say at one point that I'll probably retire at 40, but now that I'm only 3 years away, I don't think I'm going to retire at 40. The thing is though, the American Nightmare hasn't reached the big 40 yet, so maybe he does get to that day, he wakes up in the morning, he looks at his amazing life and he looks at everything he has achieved and goes, you know what, I am done. It's time for part 2. And even though people are melting down still after WrestleMania 39, going, I can't believe that Cody Rhodes didn't beat Roman Reigns, and look, for the record, I would have pulled the trigger, he has still done everything. I mean, he's gone all the way from WWE developmental to starting a proper rival promotion, to winning the Royal Rumble, and going on last at the biggest show ever. It's not like if he does decide to hang them up, he's going to have regrets. He's a flippin' superstar. Let's also not forget though, he did go through that terrible injury with his torn pec, and all it takes is one more bit of bad luck, and you just never know. This is why we should stop saying silly things and just enjoy everything that we are getting. And as always, if I had told you this back in 2016, you would have slapped me. Probably rightfully so. Number 4, Kenny Omega. Now, do I think that Kenny Omega is one of the best wrestlers ever? I process my brain, and much to the chagrin of the comments, yes, I do. He's also a very smart individual and a very nice man, but he does know how to drive headlines. So when he was doing an interview after he had come back from his most recent injury and said, look, if I have any more issues with my rehabilitation, I may give it up for good, I was like, holy flubble sticks, I was not ready for this. Now, we have seen ever since then that he is back to the old Kenny Omega and just having incredible matches with everyone. But this kind of ties into what I just said. Let's say he does suffer an injury, which can happen to any pro wrestler. Maybe he's like, you know what, it's not worth it. There's a ton of other things I can do and am doing right now. I'll go focus on that instead. And it's not like this isn't potentially possible, because did you see that match he had with Will Ospreay at Wrestle Kingdom 17? I have watched it a few times now, and my jaw is just aghast on every single occasion. I don't know how any normal human being is able to pull that off. So this is why we must appreciate Kenny Omega every single day, because one day he's not going to be part of the wrestling landscape anymore. That makes me feel quite sad and upset in my tum-tum. Number 3, Edge. I mean, the man himself said it. He wants to retire again, but this time on his terms. He wants to do it in Canada. And you know what? Maybe all of that happens in 2023. Damn. I mean, he even said this to a Toronto crowd the last time WWE was there and said, you know what? We are going back in August, and maybe that's a good time to draw a line under it all. Here's the thing, when it comes to Adam Copeland, he is still operating at such a high level, I kind of want to see him take on everybody. But look, if we take the facts as the fact, and at the moment this is a fact, when we get to August 2023, that will be it for Edge. Now, of course, when we get to the Summertown, he probably will change his mind, but can we absolutely be sure of that? Of course we can't, because we're not Edge. Unless you are Edge, and if you are, hello, you're great. I still kind of have this funny feeling though that he may not retire, and instead he may leave WWE and go to AEW because there are a bunch of dream bouts there. But of course, this is me fantasy booking too. Nerds for life. Number 2, Bryan Danielson. Now, on many occasions, Bryan Danielson has told us that he is never going to retire, and as long as he's fit and healthy, he's probably going to wrestle for the rest of his life. This is why he is so damn good. What he absolutely is going to start doing, though, from 2023, is appearing less, is having less matches, to the point he may not even be contracted to a company, and he just picks and calls his shots around his family life, because he wants to be a good dad. The other point we have to throw in there, though, is that when he was doing an interview late last year, he said, when my AEW deal is over, that's me done. Now, we don't 100% know what this means. He could just mean as a full-time professional wrestler, but that still means you're going to see him less and less. So I'm going to repeat myself once again, start appreciating it. You have to imagine this may be relatively soon, though, because we are coming up to the 2 years of him being in All Elite Wrestling. So this will be an interesting one. Because could we maybe one day see a 75-year-old Bryan Danielson having a wrestling match? I wouldn't put it past him, and he'd still probably be better than 85% of other wrestlers out there. Number 1, Matt Riddle. This one is purely speculation, and we'll have to see what does go down. But thankfully, on the Raw after WrestleMania, Matt Riddle did return to Monday Night Raw, and everything seemed good again. Let's try to keep it this way. Because if you do some Googling and you do see what happened over the last 6 months, Mr. Riddle has had some controversy in his life, and it got so bad, allegedly, WWE suspended him from the company. Ruh-roh. These kind of stories also tell back to the UFC, and I'm just a little bit worried that maybe Riddle is on thin ground one now, and if one more of these comes up, maybe WWE decides they're done with him for good. If that does happen too, there's every single chance that Matthew decides, you know what, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm so damn tired from all the emotion. I'm just gonna go live in a forest and reside in a log house. I don't know, just seems like the kind of thing he may do. Now, what I would rather happen is that he does find a good place in his personal life so he can go back to being the amazing wrestler that we do know, but this has happened before. If you do make yourself persona non grata, all of a sudden your opportunities will start to dwindle. But I do like to be a positive Pete, and right now he is feuding with The Miz, which is more than fine. But yeah, we need to stay on the straight and narrow here. Otherwise, we could wake up and have another one of those headlines, and I tell you, given that we're only in April, we've only had 4 months of the year, I really need less of these, because when it comes to pro wrestling, it is getting totally exhausting. Now, please do leave a comment below and let me know what you think about any of the stuff we've talked about in the video, and if you think there's anybody else that could be retiring soon, like the video, share the video, and subscribe. And you can head over to whatculture.com where you can read yourself some articles. And look, there's videos on the screen right now. Touch one. Otherwise, my name is Simon from What Culture. Thank you very much for joining me as always. I'm in a jet lag malaise at the moment, so I don't really know what is going on. Is my name even Simon? We don't know. Goodbye.